Okay, welcome to the Connected Networker podcast. My name is Barry Kopis. I'm the host and producer, and my podcast is all about interviewing people that are network and organization people, CEOs, influencers, and authors. And today we have a very special guest, Al Wagner with True Payroll Company. And I'm just going to read a little bit about his background, his professional bio, and a little bit about his family. As a 1992 graduate Penn State University with a BS in accounting along with a business law minor, Al started his professional career for a real estate property management firm. Starting his career as an accounts payable clerk, Al spent time learning the accounting and bookkeeping trade within the corporate world. Al gained experience with three separate public accounting firms working in the areas of attestation work, that's audits, bookkeeping, and tax preparation services. April 1999, opening the Casual Accountant Incorporated, he initially worked with clients of a variety of tax defense engagements. Al offered bookkeeping and tax preparation, which continued to 2015 when he sold the practice. Al moved the business from the Philadelphia suburbs to Marco Island, Florida in 2004. In 2007, Al's accounting firm started offering payroll processing under the DBA of IAO Payroll. For the next 5 years, Al's business brand, Independent Accounting Office, aka IAO, would offer a full suite of financial record keeping, tax preparation, payroll solutions. The accounting and tax practice was sold in 2015, allowing Al to focus 100% of attention to building True Payroll. During the past 6 years, True Payroll continued to grow and currently serves customers in 24 states, ensuring thousands of employees receive paychecks. Employers are on time with filings and payments. More recently, Al received notification the core processing platform provider that the platform itself would be decommissioned and all active customer would be migrated to another platform. Thankfully, having suspected such a move is coming, Al had worked on a design, development, and release of a new modern, flexible, and robust payroll platform, which is set for public release before the end of 2021. As the saying goes, there's more to the story. However, for now, Al can say he's helping www.datasetgo.llc with his product launches of both www.erismaminer.com and www.wholesalepayroll.com. Additionally, Al's entrepreneurial spark continues in a variety of ways, including mentoring, podcasts, and event hosting. Currently, Al has a blended family, has kids with his love, Jessica, and their 2 girls, and wonderfully balanced a supportive family. Al's previous wife, Julia, had, in fact, they had 3 boys, and they were Joshua, Jonathan, and what's the other one? Jacob. Okay, so you got 5 kids in the family.
Julia's my daughter.
Oh, Julia's your daughter. So you got 5 kids in the family?
6.
6 kids in the family, and then your wife. So you got 8 people in the family.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Plus
Including
3 dogs.
You and your wife, plus 2 dogs. Okay.
3 dogs.
3 dogs. Okay, so here's some accolades and accomplishments, awards, and recognition over the years Al's achieved. In 2017 to 2021, he was the president of the Naples Connection, a master networkers chapter. 2018, he led the Naples Connection as the runner-up for the most return on investment chapter in the nation. 2021, he was Alignable's 2021 Local Business Person of the Year in Marco Island. That's where
2022 also.
2022, okay.
Both.
And 2021, he was Alignable's USA Mentor of the Year in the top 25 finalists. And you were 16th.
16th?
In the top 25. And right now, this is how I met Al. He's an Alignable ambassador and an ambassador mentor. So welcome to the podcast, Al. That's quite a career you've had.
Gosh, so, I actually sound really cool.
Okay. And so my first question is, how did you transfer or pivot from that area into networking, into Alignable?
That's a really long story. You said we only have 40 minutes, Barry, so I'll try to condense this down. Essentially, I was that proverbial guy that you'd go to an after 5, and I'd have a stack full of my cards, and I was going, here's my card, here's my card, here's my card, here's my card, thinking in my younger years that that was what you were supposed to do. And not only did I think that's what you're supposed to do, I thought that was how you generated new leads in business and how you grew. And ultimately, that will always prove to be a failing strategy. So I gave up on networking altogether. I just didn't do anything. It happens as a byproduct of doing good service, right? You're going to get word of mouth referrals and whatnot, but I never had an intention. So about 9 years ago now, 8-9 years ago, I got invited to another type of after 5 event, and I thought, I hate those things. I'm not a small talk kind of guy. I'm a D type personality with a high C next to it, right? So I'm all about getting to the bottom line and give me the details and forget the rest of it. And so I went to this event and I got introduced to a total different paradigm of what networking really is. And when I walked in, I didn't really know but 2 people out of maybe 80, 90 in the room. And the person who was actually hosting the event recognized that I was new, had never seen me before. Doesn't hurt that I'm 6'5", with, looking like a Q-tip on top. And so he came over and introduced himself and asked me what I did and said, oh, well, I've got this person, this person, this person, this person. You have to meet them all. And he took me that night through and was paying attention as conversation seemed to be winding down, whatnot, would come over and say, all right, now meet this person. And so he did all these warm introductions. And I got clued in that night. And I went, oh, this is networking. It's not about transactions. It's not about what I can get out of it. It's who can I meet, create some relationships with, and then build upon those. From there, I got introduced, because of that group, I got introduced to Master Networks. And that's an organization that's a lot like BNI, different and similar all at the same time. And so I was asked to be a president of a chapter, or help at least get it off the ground. We didn't know who was going to be what at the time. And there was about 6 of us, and it took us about 6 months, and we formed a chapter. And at that point, we were like, okay, who's going to lead it? And by default, nobody else wanted to do it. So I said, all right, fine, I'll do it. It wasn't like they were going, hey, you be it. And nobody wanted it. Everybody kept passing the baton. So I took it. We grew that chapter collectively to a solid 38 members that would meet every week, week after week after week. And I learned a whole lot more about what networking really is as a result of being part of that organization. Fast forward to 2020, still part of that organization, still the president of that chapter at that time. And I read an article, and it was very interesting. And in summary, the article said, if you're going to network online, you should upgrade all of your accounts that you're networking through. And okay, let me read this a little bit. And the premise was, let people know that you're serious, that you're not there just to solicit, that you are there to network. And typically, only paid accounts will be interested in those relationship building types of networking styles. Well, that makes sense. I'm already paying for this other organization. Why don't I try it? That's how I ended up not on Alignable, because I've been on Alignable since 2015 and hadn't used it. Not really. And then in December of 2020, upgraded my account. And when you know it, within 7 days, I had a customer. That doesn't happen. It won't happen today. It's just right. But timing was just right. And then a couple months later, as Alignable does, they have their business person of the year for each of their communities. Somehow, Barry, I won. Don't ask me how. I have no idea who voted. You needed 3 votes. I have no idea who voted for me. I didn't even know I was in the running for any kind of contest. So I get this email that says, hey, congratulations, you're the 2021 Business Person of the Year from Marco Island. And what in the world just happened? I have no idea. They then formed a group of all their community winners. And it's something like 3,900 or 4,000 communities across their platform. And I looked at it and I said, how in the world can I get to meet all these other people? Because I'm now so totally curious. How did they win? Did they even know? And Alignable formed a group, a private group just for those winners. And so I approached Alignable. I said, hey, can I do an event online? Because now that COVID had happened, right? And everybody was getting a lot more familiar with doing the online networking. And it became commonplace to now do that. So I said, let me try this. Would they allow me? And they said, yeah, sure. That's how we met as a result of that event getting off the ground. And after some trial and error of different structure styles and how should the interaction actually go, by August and September of last year, kind of really figured out that quick connect style of networking. I don't prefer the term speed networking because that's really transactional focused, versus a quick connect is all about making a connection. It's not about, speed in any way, shape, or form. It's all about finding out somebody new or engaging in continued conversation with somebody that you've met in the past, so that you can build upon it with each event, and or take it off the event, hopefully, and build those relationships. And so now today we have that event goes every other Tuesday, averaging about 140 to 160 people any given week. And that group size is about 1,800 and growing. So the Alignable group is a lot larger than that, but the actual people who participate is about 1,800. So it's been pretty awesome to watch that go. And as you know, Barry, I'm strict in the sense that you don't come on this event. Anything that I do, don't sales pitch, don't solicit, don't try to get somebody to buy your stuff.
So on that point, do you think a lot of people don't really understand the true meaning of networking?
85% don't. That's my gut reaction to that question, Barry. Most people don't. It's all about ROI. And we live in a world that's microwaves, right? We don't cook on the stovetop hardly anymore. So everybody's expecting instantaneous gratification, and that just doesn't happen. So, yeah, I just got a coffee delivered.
Oh, okay.
So thank you. I think there's society in itself, particularly here in America, everybody expects something to happen, and I think there's an overriding sense of entitlement. I think it's pervasive, and I think it seeps into business, and you see it all the time. How many events have you gone to where there's at least a handful of people that all they want to do is try to pitch you on their product? Like, whoa. I didn't walk into your store looking to be sold. We're in an event, for crying out loud. I'm just looking to meet people to build my referral network. And me personally, I host and go to events not to look for business. I look for people who I connect to other people, particularly my customers, because what I do in payroll and accounting and that kind of thing, there ain't no sex appeal to that. There's just not. And so how can, in a business that either is really high volume with a lot of competition, so if you're in insurance or real estate or mortgage lending and those, the typical type of events where you see in networking, where you see a lot of those industries, you got to stand out. And the last thing you should be doing is trying to pitch your company or your service. It's get people to know you. Natalie DeLeo, I really like what she does on her emails. And it says, I can't refer if I don't know you. And there's a step further to that, right? Which is, it's a cliche, know, like, and trust. There is no way you're going to meet me in the first time in any network setting that I'm going to be able to give you a referral if you don't give me the opportunity to get to know who you are, to figure out whether I like you. And to your point, or to your question, I just posted both on LinkedIn and on Alignable. It happens way more on LinkedIn. Alignable does a very good job of trying to monitor that kind of behavior. That said, I have a very personal stance. If you solicit me, I will unfriend you. Period. So
now another question I have for you too. During the last 2 years, almost the whole world's been locked down, and we've had to go to our computer, if that's something somebody has, and access the internet, and attend webinars, summits, conference, expos, networking events, whatever. That is quite different, I've seen, from the in-person events I've been to, because I think people seem to have more freedom. I can do anything I want in this room in person, but I got parameters or policy or guidelines I have to work through attending events.
There's a psychological dynamic that occurs when somebody's behind a keyboard and a screen. And lots of studies have been done on this. People are less likely to observe their own personal boundaries behind a computer, right? Because you don't have that interaction. You don't have the nervousness as much. And I would submit that my experience is people online are more apt to be salesy than they are in person. Is that what you're asking me? Or your experience is the opposite?
Yeah, and I would say too, if somebody goes to an event of 1,000 strangers, they're going to be at a loss on who to approach, because these are all strangers, and I don't know who wants to talk to me, who wants to talk about my product or service, or get a conversation going with me, because they don't know me, I don't know them, and they're at a loss. Where do I start at this event?
Yeah. And I'll add this. What if you go to an event, there's only 10 people? That can be almost more intimidating, because chances are there might be a little bit of a clique, or a few people know each other. Now you got to break into that. Larger rooms, you have more opportunity than you do with a smaller crowd. However, the skill set's the exact same. If your mindset is to go to close deals, to get leads, to take out of that event, you're going to struggle. Unless you're that really high I type personality, right? That thrives on all, and you can bounce around the room and you're the butterfly, blah, 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 blah. Most people aren't that. And so you have to develop your skill set. You have to learn yourself first and foremost, figure out what's going to work for you on an approach, and then execute on that and practice it. Those events are awesome for practice, because what are the chances you're going to see those people again? You might, depending on where it is, if it's in your hometown, depending on the size of your town. Here in Naples, Florida, I can go to 5 different events and never see the same people. Where the practice comes in, it really doesn't matter if you end up seeing these folks again, because you can just be transparent. Hey, I'm not good at this. I'm learning how to network. Do you mind if I talk to you? Tell me where you're from. Figure out your icebreakers. What are those topics that you're most comfortable with? Talk about those. Forget your business. Take one of the best things I ever did, Barry, is I took the pressure off myself to say, I don't care if I get a sale. What I care about is finding at least one person that I can connect to a customer of mine. There's a gentleman that actually was very instrumental in me getting started with Master Networks. His name's Sonny. He, when we would do meetings together, he had a really interesting perspective that he would share. So how many times do you get a referral from somebody, and the minute they give you a referral, your inclination is to feel like you have to reciprocate? You're now obligated, right? You got to give them a referral. That, for whatever the psychology is on that, it absolutely holds true. So what that means, and I think we hear it a lot all over the place, don't take from an event, don't take while you're networking, give. So how do you actually do that? What are the mechanics of networking, of really networking and building a referral network? Well, it starts with giving. And the whole, what is it, Zig Ziglar, giver's gain, all those help enough other people get what they want and you will get what you want. And that it is as true as when he said it, as before he said it, as after he said it. When I go and find people to connect with others, not only do they want to send me payroll business, the person who received the referral and said, hey, Al sent me to you, that person now feels like they want to send me some payroll business. So when it comes up in their mind, now I'm in an industry that just doesn't come up, and you don't go to the bar or dinner and go, hey, let's talk about payroll. It just doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. However, when that conversation does come up, and I can tell you, I would also, and I'll backtrack for a second, track when you meet people and when business generates. I know it's 12 to 18 months. So I tracked that in the beginning for about a year and a half. And I knew where my referrals were coming. So I could figure out what my lead time is. How long does it take for that activity to have this crescendo where the lead funnel starts? We see lead funnels and all this kind of stuff on social media and how you do that. When it comes to networking, depending on what your business or product or service is, you may have shorter, you may have longer. If you've got something with a lot of sex appeal or something that's in high demand, then your lead times are probably going to be a lot shorter. But the thing is, if you're the one that's doing all the selling and treating networking as transactional, I just had this conversation, aka argument, with somebody who was private messaging me about his thoughts on what networking is and why he solicits out of the gate. Then you're dialing for dollars, and it's 100% reliant upon your ability to continue to dial. Wherein when you build relationships and you take the time and you invest in those, what happens is you have this sales force that is passive. And when the situation comes up, they remember you as long as you've got the relationship. And so for me, the people I meet this year will generate business next year. And the people I meet next year, so forth and so on. So I just have this growing base of people who are free salespeople. Think of it, marinate on that. People don't take the time to understand what it is that they're doing. And I'll be transparent about it. I don't care if I ever get an ounce of business from anybody, because I know it's going to happen. Therefore, I get all the pressure off myself. And I'm just there to help whoever I have to help. So when you get to that room of 1,000, you get to that room of 10, you get whatever the size is, there's no pressure anymore. Because now you know you're planting seeds, you're watering the garden, and the trees and the vegetables and the grass, and it's all going to grow. And sometimes the soil may not be so good that the event may not be the best event for you. Don't expect that every time you go, the seeds that you plant are actually going to germinate. And even if they do germinate, don't expect that plant's going to actually spit off any kind of fruit or vegetable. It may not. Maybe it dies. Maybe you find out you're allergic to it. Right? Maybe you find out you don't like the taste of that particular fruit or vegetable. And so you just keep planting all the different seeds, and you water them, and you let them grow, and you let it spit off what it's going to spit off. And with that kind of approach, networking becomes fun. It becomes easy, no matter what your personality is. It doesn't matter if you're a high D. I use the DISC profile mostly. So whether you're a D, I, S, or C, you can find a way to capture the essence of your own personality, what your strengths are. So S-type personalities, right? They're the ones that are the wallflowers. Those wallflowers should look for other wallflowers and pay attention in the room and congregate to them to help them come off the wall and meet somebody else. And by doing that, right, now your focus is, I'm going to help that person who looks like they're in the struggle in the same as me, and I'm going to help them find somebody. So now it's not about you, but at the same time, you're going to be in that introduction process. You're going to be in that conversation process. It's so fascinating to watch.
Yeah, Sue Brooke actually did a little webinar, and she mentioned when she goes to in-person networking events, she looks for the introverts Say those are the people looking at their phone, they're looking down, they look lost. They said, oh, nobody wants to talk to me. I'm all by myself. I kind of get bored and I'm not engaged. And she goes and look for those people and walks up to them and say, hi, my name is Sue. What's your name? Jack. Oh, hi, Jack. Are you new to this event? What are you doing here? Like, what's up with you? And you get a conversation going, non-salesy and non-pitching. And that's what she does. And she finds very good success at that. So I said, I've never heard anybody give that kind of tip before. Look for the introverts. Don't look for the extroverts, the people that are talking all the time and engaging conversations. Looking for the quiet type people.
I absolutely appreciate how Sue approaches that. I'm not dissimilar. I take my approach a little bit more wider. I cast that net a little bit wider, and depending on mood, really, because we're all going to have good days, bad days, and indifferent. Gauge yourself. Check out the crowd. The wallflowers are definitely interesting people because they want help. If you are a servant type personality, so in introverts, that's an interesting. So there's two different kinds of introverts. There are introverts that appear to be extroverts, and there are extroverts that appear to be introverts. And what I mean by that is I heard this really unique definition of what is a true introvert and what is a true extrovert. And whether true is the right phrase or not, somebody who I'll dub as a true introvert is that person who recharges their own energy by being alone. Let me get away from everybody and then recharge. A real extrovert goes to other people to get charged up. I'm one of those. I used to be a very high C, very detailed kind of personality. Give me all the facts. Then over the years, it converted more into a D. I just want to get through the thing and get things done. Now I definitely have a lot of I type personality. And then the S comes in. I've spent years trying to balance out those things so that I can be what I need to be in whatever situation I find myself in for the best fit for everybody involved. That comes with a lot of humility, comes with being vulnerable. It comes with being willing, as Brene Brown says, and I love a lot of her work, become vulnerable to the actions of others. And the minute you can do that, your networking success, I think, will probably double, triple, or quadruple. And defining networking success is creating that book of referral partners. So when I go, oh, you want to be on a podcast? I got the perfect guy. Barry would love to have you on. He'll talk about networking. You guys can have a great episode. Or Matt Levenhagen, another podcaster, right? He loves to interview all kinds of people. Great. Here's somebody that, oh, you need a tax guy? Got a tax guy. Oh, you need a lawyer? What kind of lawyer? I got, okay, these, right? And so you need somebody for your 401k. Oh, okay. Well, I've got this list of people. Go interview them, go talk to them, see who strikes up the best relationship with you. Referral partners don't need to be exclusive. I think that's another kind of misconception, because there's all these groups out there like BNI, like Master Networks, and a variety of other ones that have very specific rules around how their groups organize, right? There's one realtor in the group, there's one banker in the group, those kinds of things. And so you get this, I think, a misperception on, well, I can only have that one. In those groups, yeah, it tends to be that way. However, it shouldn't be. That's one of the reasons that I don't really participate much with those anymore, because I'm casting a wider net. I want 10, 20, 30 different people in the same line of work, because I have no idea who Barry's going to relate to. Maybe the first 29 just didn't click. That number 30, that's the one that, that dude is the best dude since sliced bread. All right, cool.
And point, we just have a little over 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
At one point I want to mention too, that a lot of people, when they put the sales pitch on, or they're trying to sell and they turn me off immediately or turned you off, they have no idea what they could have lost because of the turnoff, or you got booted out of the webinar or the event, and how many contacts I might have that they might benefit from me. And
Well,
they've
that's a
lost
great
all
point.
that.
One of the things we used to do, Barry, when we were creating chapters and talking to people, is we would, and hopefully this will show, you hold up your phone and we'd have everybody in the room do one thing. Go to your contacts, go to either, depending on the device, go to the top or the bottom. How many contacts are in that phone? Don't tell me who they are, just how many. It used to be that the average person knew 300 people. You know what we found? The average person had about 1,500 contacts in their phone.
Wow.
Your point is so well made. You have no idea the bridge that you could be blowing up. When do you ever go to the grocery store and expect to be just jammed with solicitations to buy this, that, and the other thing? Yes, there's passive advertising going on, but the people are coming up and saying, hey, buy these bananas. That's not how it works. If you go to a farmer's market, maybe. If you go to some kind of other thing like that, yeah. But in a general business setting, I think the best analogy might be going to the car lot. How many people really enjoy going car shopping? It's the stigma that industry has, rightfully or not, attained, that you just get accosted, right? And it's just the used car salesman approach, blah, blah. It's no fun. And the people who tend to do that either don't know, brand new in business, right? And they think they have to sell because they have their own personal, professional, financial pressures. And network marketing tends to do that, right? They do a lot of coaching of people that it's all volume. And yes, that's true. In any business, it is true. It's just a matter of how you go about creating what you're creating. And if it's transactionally minded, knock your socks off. Chances are, right, they're going to irritate you. They're going to irritate me. And I probably won't keep a connection alive.
See, whenever I attend a lot of events, I always put it out there that my passion in life is to offer referrals to streaming TV networks, podcasts, and magazines. And people say, they might think, oh, no, this guy has no connection to those things. He's probably just saying that for the sake of saying it. But when I refer people to these actual things, they said, wow, Barry got me on a big podcast. He got me written up in a magazine. He got me on a TV talk show. Wow, he does have those connections. So
Barry, that said, if you want to get me on any of those shows, have at it. I'll go on all of them.
Yeah, because recently in summary, I actually had an influencer, a TikTok influencer that I got off TV news. And some people say, well, I'll never reach her because she's probably not on social media. I looked up her name, boom, we made a connection. I said, Melissa, I just saw you on TV. They got 20 million TikTok views on some video that you did with your son. I said, I'd like to interview you. So we got together, and the next thing you know, she shared her story. She got booked on Kelly Clarkson twice, and she got written up in the British Sun newspaper. I said, all that from a video of your son sledding down the hill? I said, wow. So now she's a mom of a daycare company. She's called a TikTok influencer.
Sure.
Because I can show you how to leverage TikTok to influence people, whatever. And don't post crazy videos like does a video. And so she posts a lot of videos, and that video was actually posted on a phone. There's a record on a phone. Yeah. Nothing fancy.
Nope, you don't need it.
You don't need it, right? But when I had her on my show, she gave me her life story, and I was really wowed by that. And then I said in the end, I said, if you would like to refer to other podcasts, I've established relationship with hosts of other podcasts, and I'm not just going to refer you blindly. I'm going to do a soft intro, and I think you'd be a good fit for this podcast. And now we have a relationship. I forget what state she lives. Oh, she lives in Colorado, I believe. But that's how things work. I didn't sell anything to her at all.
100%.
She didn't sell nothing to me. She just said, I was booked on Kelly Clarkson show. Wow. I want to hear your story.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do, right?
And it's no different whether it's an influencer or just somebody you met off the street. Same thing.
Yeah. So
The
in
approach is always the same.
so in summary, Al, how do people connect with you if they want to get involved in your events that you have?
Gosh, that's a great question. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Alignable, LinkedIn, all under Al Wagner, and True Payroll and Wholesale Payroll and DataSet Go.
And the next event you're having for a Quick Connect, is it coming up in September?
This next one is next week, Tuesday. We just had one today, using the Blitzer platform.
Okay, well, I want to thank you very much, Al.
Thank you.
That was good insight you gave into your perspective of networking, because a lot of people have lots of different opinions about networking. So that was appreciative. Thank you for your time. And we're coming to the close of the show. So you have a great day, Al. And I will send you